Hello, and welcome to the 14th installment of the Wooden Model Project. Over the past 10 years, I've showcased all sorts of groundbreaking Railway Series wooden railway customs. However, I've not been keeping up to date in recent years. For the past 6 years, I've only made one video showcasing models, and I made a lot more than that. So I thought I would start catching up by showcasing categories of customs, starting with goods rolling stock. Today I'll be talking about a variety of different types of rolling stock. Some of these I've just made, some of these are 10 years old. Some of these I received as gifts, some of these I commissioned. Most of them I made myself. I'll be talking about each one in detail as we go through. Without any further delay, let's get into it. First, we'll start off with the set of goods wagons. Each one is unique and has a unique story. These guys are excellent to represent generic goods vans or wagons. However, they're particularly good to represent the flying kipper. Most of them were made in January of 2023 when some of my friends and I got together to celebrate the holidays. The first van was made by William Politeski and features a rough, weathered exterior, and he named it Gruddy Grub. The next one was made by Master of the Lemons. It was also a brown van, slightly less worn. However, he still is, and was named Dingy Dave. The next one was made by a good friend Tank Engine Thomas, or Parker. He made it many years ago. The design is a simple dark brown with black lining. It is quite elegant and fits well into the train. This one was also made several years ago, but by William Politeski. You can see it's lighter brown than most of the others and makes for a good contrast with the rest of the train. The last goods van in this lineup was made by Percy 6 Miles. However, I did complete some unfinished details on this one, and I did add faces to some of the others. And that's my goods van lineup. Very happy with them all. Each of them has their own strengths and weaknesses, but they can make a good flying kipper. The next lineup is a hodgepodge of different goods vans and rolling stocks, but the theme here is it's mostly older or not in my active line of use for primary projects. So yeah, what can I say? I took my box fans, the standard green and blue ones, and pitted them brown and gray. You can use them as cattle trucks, can use them as a few other things. Cattle trucks is kind of how I mostly envision them. This is just mostly so I could pay up and fulfill my promise I made in my review that I was going to do this, and I'm pretty happy, quite frankly, with them. Alright, let's keep this train moving. So the next one is a conflat. I'll put up a picture here of what a conflat looks like. It's a little container before standardized container. The chassis here the Japanese train gave me back in 2017 or so. I forgot how I made... Oh dear. Perhaps we should move on. This one is another, how I should say, vintage classic made by Hero the Japanese Train, probably 2014, 2015 type era that it gave to me in 2017. I'm doing a complete collection of my custom trucks video, so it's in it, but I don't expect to be using it much. Moving on. Now we have one of my personal favorites. My friends have called him Grandpa Fred. I just call him the proper Fred. So this is, in the illustrations, it's clear to me at least that he's the same as all the other ballast trucks in Alsborough. However, he's been adapted to wooden railway as a coal cars, so I wanted to represent him as a ballast truck. This one is the definition of the most minor custom possible. Just took off a face, I added my own face, and repaired the area underneath. And that's this train. Well, let's move on to the next train. This is the last, most primitive train that I have to show today. It was mostly made around 2017. It was a collaboration mostly with Hero the Japanese Train. Let's look at it one by one. So look, these guys are all outdated, but instead of talking about them because they are what you see on screen, I want to talk about how I use them. So these guys are in the back of the yard to fill it up with more volume, maybe one in a longer train. And as I eventually get more customs or have earmarked projects to upgrade, these guys are on the list. If anyone knows more information about these chassis, what franchise they're from, brand they're from, please let me know. Wouldn't mind learning more. But yeah, they're yard fillers, they're background items. This last one here though is a bit better. It's a cattle coach. I'm pretty sure Matt did some customization work on it, and the rest one or the other of us just painted it solid. And that's this train. Moving on to the next one. This one is mostly quite recent, not really seen in Subject Flyer yet, but a train of oil tankers. So these are surprisingly corporately branded for my taste, but I based them off of Railway Series illustrations or just generally what was typical at the time. You can see some of the reference images there, and let's go through them one by one. So Anglo-American Oil Company red tanker. Then we have this one, which is a bit more of a generic tanker based on generalities I saw between tankers. An Esso tanker based on one from the Bluebell Railway. And then we have these two British Petroleum tankers that featured prominently on enterprising engines. And I threw in a Shell tanker just for fun. Alright, so here's the last train made by not myself. It's Billy and Bubba Special, made by William Politeski or Will P. YouTube and Percy 6 Miles, my good close friends. So the first two are gifts. Both were Christmas gifts, one a Secret Santa, one a direct gift, to help support Subject Flyer. So the first one, the blue one, was completely scratch made by my friend Percy 6 Miles. Scratch made China Clay, scratch made body. And the yellow one will repainted a yellow China Clay truck. This was extremely generous of them and really helped me produce this film. I'm very thankful for their contribution to the project. Alright, so moving on, the next one is another Secret Santa gift from Percy 6 Miles from a few years ago. Just a more modern UK goods wagon. So he based it off of a modern reference, not extremely modern, but 1970s, 80s-ish. I'm very happy how it turns out and can work with all sorts of different cargo sets. This guy was also made in January of 2023. Personal friend group favorite. Mineral wagon, a bit run down. We call him Doofus. We gotta love him. Alright, next train to look at. So this set was featured in Subject Flyer, the brake van special. So the brake vans themselves I ordered from Nick TF89 on his 3D print shop, and I customized them to meet the style of the illustrations from mainline engines that showed the brake van special pulled by Bill and Ben. So the Soda China Clay Company brake vans. It's quite funny. I have more Soda China Clay Company brake vans now than other brake vans, but had to get done to get the special produced. So with that out of the way, let's get on to my flatbeds. So here you can see I have flatbeds of all shapes and colors and cargo loads. So what can I say about them? These guys are so versatile. You can mix and match what goes in them. There's all sorts of ways you can have different load combinations to show you're pulling different things. These guys are based off of a Brio flatbed model, very common to find in stores of all types. So one might wonder, can I run one bogie on one track and another bogie on another? What stops the bogies is these two middle hooks that are connected between them that stops full motion running. However, this hoop can be easily undone and allowing you full mobility of the two bogies, so you're able to do that split track running with these flatbeds. However, this makes it a bit hard to manage the two bogies just handling in your collection otherwise, and I found it annoying to keep them together. So I saw Heisel production using wind chimes for steel cargo. You can see those work great in these. This is some alumina cargo, which I quite love to represent the aluminum industry in Sodor. Speaking of that, the next thing that I want to show is my alumina, the raw ore that goes in to make aluminum hoppers. So I based these off of relevant rolling stock in Great Britain that would have been used at the time, and made a bunch so I could fill them up in the harbour and have different trains pull them around Sodor to show the alumina going to Peel Godred, which according to the books is one of the most important industries for the Northwestern Railway. And with that done, that's all of my custom goods trucks. Thank you very much for watching. Seems like there's quite a mess here for the breakdown train to clean up, but maybe I'll look at that works coach and all my other coaches next time on the Wooden Model Project. Thanks again for everyone who's watched this far. I'd love to hear recommendations of what customs you want to see, both for display videos like this for different sections of my custom collection, or what customs you would like me to make in the future. Very happy to get engaged in the comments for the future of the channel. Okay, I'll see you on the next one.